From the moment Emily walked through the towering gates of the Hawthorne estate, she knew she was stepping into chaos disguised as luxury. The millionaire's wife, Vanessa, was notorious, spending fortunes, demanding perfection, and humiliating anyone who dared cross her. Nannies quit, chefs ran away, and housekeepers trembled at the mere sight of her. Emily, however, carried something none of the others did: quiet confidence and unwavering kindness. Her first encounter with Vanessa was explosive. "The silver isn't polished enough," Vanessa snapped, waving a hand at the gleaming cutlery. Emily took a slow breath. Instead of shrinking, she calmly knelt, adjusted the placement, and met Vanessa's glare with a polite, "Is this better, ma'am?" Vanessa, unaccustomed to defiance paired with grace, blinked, momentarily lost for words. Days passed. Emily didn't flinch at insults or tantrums. She treated the household staff with respect and fairness, subtly correcting the chaos Vanessa left behind. Slowly, a shift began. The staff regained confidence. Even Vanessa, watching Emily's steady composure, started to feel a pang of guilt for her own cruelty. One evening, when Vanessa suffered a minor accident in the garden, Emily rushed to her side without hesitation. In that moment, something broke. The cold facade melted into vulnerability. Vanessa whispered, almost ashamed, I never realized how harsh I've been." Emily smiled gently, offering not judgment, but compassion. It was the first true connection Vanessa had felt in years, a reminder that respect and humanity could change even the hardest hearts. Life at the Hawthorne estate began to shift in ways no one anticipated. Emily's calm persistence and kindness were rippling through the household, touching even Vanessa in subtle, surprising ways. The staff started to smile more, speak more freely, and laugh in corners of the grand estate that had long been silent. It was as if Emily's presence was a quiet rebellion against the cold perfection Vanessa demanded. One afternoon, Vanessa threw a tantrum over a trivial mistake, a misplaced vase. The house trembled with tension. But instead of trembling or retreating, Emily approached with her usual composure. "Mrs. Hawthorne," she said softly, "I understand this vase is important to you. Let's put it back together before it gets damaged further." Her tone was steady, kind, and firm. Vanessa froze, not used to being addressed without fear or flattery. Slowly, she found herself following Emily's calm direction. The vase was set, and surprisingly, Vanessa didn't explode. For the first time, she realized her rage didn't control Emily, it simply bounced off her. That evening, Vanessa watched from the grand staircase as Emily helped a young maid struggling with a heavy basket. There was no judgment, only encouragement. Vanessa's mind churned with an unfamiliar thought: why can't I be like her? For the first time, she saw Emily not just as a maid, but as a human being who had dignity, patience, and empathy. Something inside Vanessa shifted. A small spark of self-awareness began to glow, a realization that her wealth and status had never earned her respect, only fear. By bedtime, Vanessa's world felt heavier and lighter all at once. She didn't yet know how to change, but Emily had shown her something invaluable: the power of kindness. And that was the first step toward breaking the icy wall around her heart. A week later, the Hawthorne estate buzzed with preparations for a lavish charity gala, Vanessa's favorite event to showcase her wealth. Staff scurried, lights sparkled, and Emily moved quietly through the chaos, guiding without commanding, teaching without preaching. Even Vanessa, adorned in diamonds and silk, seemed restless, her usual sharp tongue ready to strike at anyone who faltered. Then disaster struck. Just minutes before the gala, a sudden spill ruined a centerpiece, Vanessa's favorite arrangement of exotic orchids. She froze, her face a mask of fury. The staff cowered, expecting the storm, but Emily stepped forward. "Let me handle this, Mrs. Hawthorne," she said softly. In her hands, the broken stems and petals became something new, an unexpected, even more beautiful arrangement. Vanessa stared, struck by how effortlessly Emily had turned disaster into art. The moment carried weight. Vanessa's chest tightened, not with anger, but with something unfamiliar, admiration, and shame. For the first time, she saw the impact of her behavior. The staff, who had feared her, now looked at Emily with respect and gratitude. Vanessa realized that the love and loyalty she longed for in her home could never come from intimidation, it had to come from kindness. Later that evening, as Vanessa watched Emily move through the gala, quietly assisting guests, she felt a twinge of guilt. How is she so patient, so good? Vanessa whispered to herself. It wasn't envy, it was a wake-up call. That night, alone in her suite, Vanessa touched the orchids Emily had saved and whispered a confession to herself, I want to be better. I don't know how yet, but I want to try. For the first time, the millionaire's wife realized that true strength wasn't in wealth or power, it was in humility, compassion, and courage. And Emily had just given her the blueprint. The following week brought an unexpected challenge. Vanessa's younger brother, Liam, arrived at the estate, an impulsive, high-spirited young man whose antics had a history of creating chaos. Vanessa's first instinct was to scold and control him, but Emily observed quietly, recognizing the opportunity for a lesson far bigger than housekeeping. Liam wandered into the garden, oblivious to the fragile plants Vanessa had meticulously cared for. Vanessa's anger flared, but before she could erupt, Emily stepped forward. He's just a child, Mrs. Hawthorne. Let's show him the way, not shame him. Vanessa hesitated. It felt unnatural, almost impossible. But something in Emily's calm eyes disarmed her. Together, Emily and Vanessa guided Liam through the garden, teaching him how to tend the plants without crushing them. Slowly, Vanessa began speaking gently, correcting with care instead of yelling. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of accomplishment that wasn't tied to her wealth or status, it was tied to nurturing, patience, and empathy. That evening, Vanessa sat beside Emily, quietly reflecting. I never realized how lonely I was, how much I've pushed everyone away, she admitted. Emily placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. It's never too late to change, Mrs. Hawthorne. Kindness has a ripple effect, you'll see it. The real test came the next day when Vanessa faced a public misunderstanding at a business event. A rude competitor attempted to humiliate her. But instead of retaliating, Vanessa took a deep breath, remembered Emily's example, and responded with grace and composure. The competitor was left speechless. Her colleagues admired her restraint. For the first time, Vanessa felt true respect, earned not through fear, but through humanity. Emily had done more than manage the household, she had shown Vanessa the power of compassion, patience, and humility, unlocking a heart that had long been trapped behind arrogance and pride. Weeks passed, and the Hawthorne estate had transformed. The staff moved with confidence, laughter echoed through once silent halls, and Vanessa, once feared, was slowly becoming someone people admired, not dreaded. Emily continued her work quietly, never seeking praise, but her influence was undeniable. The true test came one rainy afternoon. A major storm hit the town, causing chaos and panic. Vanessa's charitable foundation was holding an emergency fundraiser for displaced families. Vanessa hesitated, unsure she could lead under pressure without reverting to her old ways. But Emily, ever steady, reminded her, you've learned how to guide, not control. You can do this. Together, they coordinated volunteers, comforted frightened children, and ensured supplies reached those in need. Vanessa felt a surge of genuine purpose and pride, seeing smiles and relief that had nothing to do with money or status. For the first time, she understood the real power she possessed, the power to make a difference through kindness. Later that evening, as the storm cleared, Vanessa walked through the quiet estate, reflecting. She approached Emily, her voice soft but sincere, you didn't just teach me how to handle a house, you taught me how to handle myself. How to care. How to lead with compassion. Thank you. Emily smiled warmly, simply replying, sometimes, all it takes is a little patience and understanding to change a heart. Vanessa realized she had become a better wife, sister, employer, and human being. She was no longer the feared millionaire's wife, she had become a beacon of kindness and respect, proof that even the hardest hearts could change when met with empathy and courage. The estate thrived, not just with wealth, but with love, respect, and hope. And at its center stood Vanessa and Emily, reminders that true strength lies in humanity, and one person's compassion can transform an entire world.